Still a special edition on COVID-19 in Nigeria and across the world. And indeed, you can send us pictures of where you are, social distancing that's taking place, or if you are self-isolating, tweet at us at Channels TV. Let's take you to Niger State, where the government suspended Friday Jumat prayers and all congregational and weekly prayers in the mosque, also Sunday services at all churches in the state. Here's our correspondent, Emperor Simon, with more.
Thank you and welcome to Niger State. These are the latest developments we're tracking with regards to COVID-19 in the state. The state has directed that all congregational Jumat prayers on Friday and church services be suspended till further notice. We are at the Mina Central Mosque to monitor the level of compliance. And what we have seen is that to some extent there is compliance, because already this place on a normal day used to be a beehive of activities with traders displaying their goods for sale ahead of the prayers. And normally at a time like this, you expect to see people gathered waiting for the prayers. But today, it's a whole different scenario. What we see is that the place is almost devoid of human presence, except for few persons who are still hanging around, and we do not know why they're hanging around. But the mosque is under lock and key. We would also monitor to see what happens on Sunday. But for now, it's still a case of zero COVID-19 record in Niger State. Keep your fingers crossed, and we'll bring you more updates as they unfold. From the Mina Central Mosque, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Well, for Boris Johnson, who's tested positive for COVID-19, he indeed and the country's health secretary, Matt Hancock, they both tested positive. The Prime Minister confirmed his status himself in a video on Twitter. It was 2 minutes and 12 seconds where he says he developed temperature, persistent cough, both mild symptoms.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has joined a long list of government officials around the world who have been infected with the coronavirus. The positive test comes just 2 days after 71-year-old Prince Charles, heir to the throne, also tested positive. According to Buckingham Palace, the Queen has not met with Prime Minister Boris Johnson in more than 2 weeks and remains in good health.
I've developed mild symptoms of the coronavirus, that's to say a temperature and a persistent cough. And on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer, I've taken a test that has come out positive. So I am working from home, I'm self-isolating, and that's entirely the right thing to do. But be in no doubt that I can continue, thanks to the wizardry of modern technology, to communicate with all my top team to lead the national fight back against coronavirus. And I want to thank everybody who's involved. I want to thank, of course, above all, our amazing NHS staff. It was very moving last night to join in that national clap for the NHS. But it's not just the NHS, it's our police, social care workers, teachers, everybody who works in schools, DWP staff, an amazing national effort by the public services, but also by every member of the British public who's volunteering. Incredible response. 600,000 people have volunteered to take part in a great national effort to protect people from the consequences of coronavirus. I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody who's working to keep our country going through this epidemic, and we will get through it.
Meanwhile, UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock has also tested positive for the coronavirus. He's self-isolating at home, and his symptoms are said to be mild. In other developments, the U.S. has now more confirmed cases of the coronavirus than any other country, with more than 85,500 positive tests. According to the latest figures collated by Johns Hopkins University, the U.S. has overtaken China and Italy, but with almost 1,300 COVID-19 related fatalities, the U.S. death toll lags behind China with 3,291 and Italy 8,215. Spain, Europe's second worst hit country after Italy, has seen a sharp rise in the number of deaths caused by the coronavirus, but officials say the rate of new infections is stabilizing. Confirmed cases of COVID-19 rose to 64,059, a 14% increase compared with 18% a day earlier and 20% on Wednesday. In 24 hours, 769 people died, a daily record, taking the total to 4,858. Indian authorities in the northern state of Punjab have quarantined around 40,000 residents from 20 villages following a COVID-19 outbreak linked to just one man. The 70-year-old died of coronavirus, a fact found out only after his death. The man, a preacher, had ignored advice to self-quarantine after returning from a trip to Italy and Germany. India currently has 640 confirmed cases of the virus.
And to South Africa, it announced its first deaths from coronavirus infection and said that they have passed the 1,000 mark. The cases there, both deaths took place in hospitals in the southern province of the Western Cape. Here's our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, with more.
In South Africa, and the country is officially on lockdown, just as the number of confirmed COVID cases crossed the 900 mark. During this period, everyone is expected to be home except for essential service providers. Even the homeless have been placed in temporary shelters for the period. The next 21 days will be very difficult for many, but the goal is to curb the spread of the virus. A few hours before midnight, President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the police in Pretoria and the army in Johannesburg as deployment begins across the country and the borders.
You are called upon to go out and support our police, work with them, walk amongst our people, and defend them against this virus. You are required to do so in the most understanding way, in the most respectful way, in the most supportive way.
Also motivated by the Chief of the Army, General Solishoki, they set about their assignment against an unseen enemy of the nation. But the morning of lockdown day 1, it didn't look like a lockdown on several fronts, from those flouting the passenger number restrictions and even those still stranded at transport locations, to those on long queues outside grocery stores. In Alexandra Township in Johannesburg, some of the people we spoke to were quite defiant, while others were compliant.
Hence we black people, we don't know lockdown. It doesn't include us anyway. Corona, we don't know Corona at all. Because we can't stay in the house while we don't have groceries in the house.
Yeah, lockdown is affecting because now we can't even exercise like every morning.
We are worried about the coronavirus. We cannot lock down. This is a hand-to-hand business. This is how we feed our families. So we can't close our doors because of a disease that has not even started this side of the world.
And it is indeed talks like this that has government worried about being able to actually flatten the curve of the spread of the virus, as the nation woke up to news of 2 deaths from COVID-19 in the Western Cape province. 2 women, one 28 and the other 48, as the number of confirmed cases crossed 1,000. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
We have more updates for you from Nigeria and the rest of the world. Join us again at 9 p.m. I'm Millicent Walker. Thank you for watching.